Hey, Jim.
Hey, Steve. Here we are with another Friday Night Live Zoom, January 22nd, 2021, I believe. Got to get used to the new number. um, and away we go. Another month is almost gone. Wow. Unbelievable. So quick. Time just flies.
Quiet, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's time has definitely speeded up. It's, I can't remember when it was. A few years back, they've changed the way they measure time. Does anybody know what I'm referring to? I can't remember what it was called. It's a few years back, but you know how science says. Uh, Let me put an example. In the music, the digital music, they have wave files, they have MP3 and all the different formats. An MP3 file, if you look at how big the file is of the same song to a wave file, it's massively different in size, right? So, wave is one of the highest forms of information for music for high definition. Wave, there's AIFF. Wave and IFFF, I believe they're similar or they're same. So that is the most information that they were able to put into uh, uh, a music file digitally to capture as much information as possible so it could sound closer to natural analog, which can never happen because digital is on and off switches, analog is a smooth line, right? So it doesn't matter how much faster computers get, it's never going to be the same switches versus that. That's what the Luciferic intellect is. Okay, it's deception. They make you believe it's the same. So when they came out with this all this high definition stuff in the music industry for digital, if you notice now, there's a lot of going back to albums because you can't compare the sound and analog. So when they came out with all this high definition digital, I think it was Apple came up with FLAC, FLAC. I mean FLAC, FLAC. It's called. It's another digital form, and they says this is a smaller file, but there's no difference in quality of sound. That's the Luciferic intellect. What do you mean? There's no difference in sound. You're taking something away. You're making the file smaller. How can it not be? How can it be the same? So what they've done in the measurement of time is something to that degree. And by doing that, if you're using digital to measure frequency, for example, a 432, it will not be accurate anymore. This is how they deceive us time in and time again. I'm gonna have to try and find that article. I'll post it on how they measure time, but it's deception after deception after deception all the way through.
Everything.
Everything. It's just like, where does it stop? There is no end. They continue and continue and continue until we, the people, stand up and say it's enough. Um, yeah. So I have a good friend of mine I grew up with who has been into high quality stereos from way, way, way back when we were basically upper teenage years. And back then we'd put fancy, loud stereos in our cars and stuff, right? And he had put it, designed and built this system in his car, and we go in this car, and what a sound! Crystal clear, beautiful. So he had that knack, and he never stopped with it. He always used that as a hobby, and it's a wonderful. to see. I actually have a pair of his first speakers he made as prototypes, and he was going to start going into the business of it, but it never happened at that time. This is many, many years ago, uh, probably 20 years. Um, and what he had done is he had made the speaker cabinets with granite. You know, granite is rock, right? So back in the days when he started, to work with granite was a little different than the way they work with it today.
Yeah.
And even 20 years ago, the technology has advanced a lot in how they cut it and so on and so forth, and able to handle it. So now they use like water jets and lasers, and so you can do things now where back then it was very difficult. I wouldn't say impossible, very, very difficult to do, and accuracies and so on. So now he's basically started up this again in the last couple of years or so to make high-end speakers. I don't know if anybody's familiar, but the what do they call them? Files, people who are right into very, very high quality
Oh yeah, files.
audio files,
I think so. Yeah.
real stuff, and they spend ludicrous amounts of money on equipment and stuff. You know, it can go in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of equipment, amplifiers, the wiring. The wiring will be, you know, crazy amounts like $40, $50 a foot or more, and et cetera, et cetera. You know, speakers, many thousands of dollars. So he had built these speakers, and they're crystal clear. You have to have, of course, the proper clean amplification to send this clean signal. You have to have a clean source of the sound, which analog is there's absolutely no comparison to digital. And if you want to hear the difference, you would hear it on a system like my friend has, and you will see everybody can pick it up. Nobody is born that they cannot tell the difference when they hear the difference. Let's put it that way. People that are into audiophile stuff are more of a trained ear because they're around it more, and they can sense these things. But yeah, these speakers are absolutely crystal clear. He has a few different sizes depending on the room and stuff, but he's been doing some shows in the last before the lockdown happened and stuff, and he's been having top-notch articles being written about his speakers um, that he's designed and built, and now that are eventually, if this, if when we get out of this lockdown stuff in the market, because people really want to listen to a speaker to be able to purchase it, especially when you're spending many thousands of dollars. But I had another friend who taught me about the 432, and he had his album that we recorded. And one day we went to this friend's house who sells who makes the speakers. And we said, "There, Val, you know, let's listen to this." And we put it on, and he goes, "What did you record it with?" This sound card. He named it. He named the sound card. You know how many sound cards there are on the planet? For the computers, there's, you know, different sound cards. And my friend's jaw dropped because he goes, "How did this guy know what sound card I used?" He goes, "Did you tell him?" I go, "How do I know what sound card you use? You never told me. I never was with you when you." He was able to hear the rate because of his trained ear. That's the quality that you can build um, when you train yourself to do anything, right? So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. But so now, if we want to play in 4-3-2, we're not actually getting a true 4-3-2 because of the time change, uh, the way they measure the time. Sorry. And it's the same with everything else that goes on out there. There's a new what do you call it? A new a breakthrough in health and so on and so forth that pops up every year or so, or every couple of years. There's always something new that's going to make you healthier and stronger and faster and so on and so forth. And it's always deception every time. I fell for a few of them, and I found out the hard way. But this is the things we need to pay attention and look for, and see that all the deception, um, and how they do it through that Luciferic intellect, and deceive us and trick us into believing these things. Um, it's very interesting. Um, Hello, Paula. Hello, Curtis. Just got to pay attention to two screens here. But yeah, so yeah, these speakers are just unbelievably amazing. Who has time to listen to music anymore?
I do every morning.
Do you?
Yeah, because I go to work early, so I'm in the shop all by myself, and I just put on whatever I want to put on in
Awesome.
3 hours. And just got,
Awesome.
yeah, it's great
Yeah, music, it really changes the state of everyone.
because it's shit same. It stops all the bullshit from coming in.
Yeah, especially when it's in 4-3-2. It makes a difference. The frequencies. Um, if I don't know, everybody went to loud concerts. Remember going to loud concerts. The
Yeah.
next day, you feel like you're drunk, you're hungover. Because
Wow. What-
well, if you ever went to one without drinking, right? It's from the music itself. Even if you were drinking, you'd feel more than you would with not that loud music. But it's the frequencies that they're pounding, and then the lights going, and so on and so forth. All this stuff has an effect on our emotion, and not a positive effect. We'll be there enjoying it and so on and so forth, but it's really an attack on our living organism. Anything that's being used when it's outside of natural harmonics, and it's such an easy thing to do today. We can switch in a computer. It's not 100%, but it's much closer than listening to the standard tuning of the industries today, which is A equals 440. Hello, Lisa. So I, I su-
Thanks.
I suggest, if you're listening to music, use any of the conversion tools. They have one for phones, 432 app for the phones. They have them for the computers, desktops, Apple, everything. They have all different ways. I've shared the links. There's one guy who explains exactly how, very simple these days, and it changes it to the pitch in real time. So it's uh, it's not a bombardment on our body. I've also shared the experiments we did many years ago. I keep seeing people promoting 528, the love frequency, as it's named, from Len Horowitz. Um, that there is something I would not go near anymore after all those experiments we've done. Man, oh man, I think the files are still in the Facebook group on the experience. It shows very clearly how the auric field was completely shattered like glass with 528,
Wow.
and 440, 528 was much worse than 440, and then 432 you would see it mending up. the friend that volunteered for the experiment, it was very interesting, very interesting. The person doing the curling photography, she was, what the hell are you guys doing? Never seen anything like this. Being able to change the aura in seconds. So yeah, we were energizing water with these different we can call them frequencies so people can understand. And we didn't tell them which one it was. When he I remember clearly when he put the 528 to his lips and it just touched his lips, he goes, "Oh boy." And we just didn't say anything and came back with the photographs, and there was the proof. And it kind of it took him a while to recover from that. It really did it did change. It changed his state. Um, and people are using this for healing. You know what they're feeling is change. They're not feeling any
Yeah.
healing. This is the misinterpretation in the Luciferic intellect that they'll convince you that these are they use it for regeneration, all that. I had tons of articles and all this stuff when we were doing all this research. I lost my hard drive. I lost a lot of hard drives. Even my laptop I'm using now, I have to get another hard drive. I got bad luck with hard drives, man. It just they can't handle being around me. They just go. I don't know how many hard drives I've lost in the last 10 years. It's quite a few. I lost two backup hard drives. Two. I lost all my information. That doesn't matter. It means it's not necessary. So, but I had a lot of research that we looked up, and there was a lot of good stuff on science tests that they've done with the different frequencies. And 432 was always the one that shown that had the best um, responses with bringing balance to the living organism. So that's why you see me always talking about the tone of 432. I don't like to use the name frequency because it's not a frequency. It's the number of creation, and you know, if you add them up, it's divine nine, as we know. Nine based math always returns to nine. It's a very unique number in creation, and it's simple things we use um, uh, to keep things moving toward balance. When we work with the cycles and harmonics of nature, it's a lot easier on us than working against them. It's just like swimming against the flow of river or swimming with it. You know, what's easier? And there's no difference. Swimming against it will make you stronger, but it's going to burn you out eventually. um, so, all the help we can get, especially when we're um, putting ourselves through challenges and trying to purge ourselves through some kind of detoxification, especially something like MFS, which is um, at a whole different level of purging. We want all the help we can get. That's why we we've accumulated all the tools that I've used and other people have used with some benefit to assist them and aid us in these difficult times of healing crisis because we need all the help we can get. Hello, Barbara. But yeah, it's very interesting looking at all the things that are happening now and correlation with what we uh, have learned. Fear is one of the most powerful weapons that they use to control. And they've used it for thousands of years. I mean, nothing's changed. The only thing now is it's it's much more powerful because they can do it, broadcast it worldwide with a click of a mouse anywhere in the whole planet, right? And that's what they've done. Without one bullet being fired, they brought the whole planet to their knees in fear. And listening to the dialogue of people out there, um, the state of most people's mind is not very, very good right now. It's it's a lot of fear, a lot of fear, and we're here to shed some light and keep sending plaf to all these souls, so that they can draw some nourishment and get through these difficult times that we're all being affected by. So let's continue and continue and continue. The only thing that's going to stop us is if we give up, right? So we can't give up. All is well. We will probably go through some more difficult times for a while before things start turning around, but um, there's some good stuff happening. 50,000 restaurants opened up in Italy at the same time, in Defiance. So there's a few other things I don't remember that are happening around the world, because people are starting to see what's happening for what it is. Disclaimer, notice, your discretion is advised. And yeah, so we'll keep you upbeat. There's a lot of other things happening. A lot of good information's coming through. This CDC from Del Bigtree's work. They actually took off their website that autism is not caused by vaccines. They've changed it. I don't know if you've seen that. This was done through they won a court case because they had on their website, you could see the before and after statement. Autism does not cause, does not cause autism, and the science is settled. That's what was on the CDC website before the court case. Now it says we are not sure, or something that it's related. The science is not settled.
Nice.
There's good things happening. There's good things happening, but it has to be done through this corrupt system that we all have, and we can't give up. And how's this happening? It's happening with the support of the people. It's not happening with their governments. It's the people supporting, Del Bigtree. He's the one who did the two documentaries, 1 and 2.
Yep.
So
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are standing up. One of them is Joshua Coleman. His son was gravely injured by vaccines and is wheelchair bound. And he started the website called V is for Vaccine and started a whole movement, really, and has produced many events worldwide where people put up the posters and signage that he has created. And the Super Bowl is the next big event that's happening, and it's going to be big. So we're hoping to have about 200 people out there representing the truth, the information, that needs to be out there.
yeah, that the biggest lawsuit in Canadian history was started by vaccine. What's it called? What was it called again? Vaccine Freedom Choice in Canada. That's That's who started the lawsuit against the all the governments here and the CDC and health elites and so on and so forth. Vaccine Choice Canada. So yeah, that's not mentioned one word on the mainstream news, by the way. It's the biggest.
No,
It's not
not
mentioned.
at all.
Nothing.
Yeah, we're going to see a constitutional lawyer speak. I've already seen her speak recently, but she's got a movie out called noncompliantmovie.com. And so she's been a leading constitutional lawyer for over a decade. And she put together this movie, and she's doing speaking engagements. I know statewide here in Florida. Not sure where else she's speaking. Her name is Chris Ann Hall. And so she's advocating for peaceful noncompliance and spreading the word about our rights and what people think they're living under, but what they're really living under.
Nobody
So
knows who's living under here.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, there's little nuggets of great things, and there's lots of people coming together right now too. Even right here, I'm doing a seed swap.
Awesome.
Planting seeds, literal seeds. On all the different levels, you know.
Keep planting.
Yeah.
I got my first sprout came up yesterday.
Nice.
First
Well,
of the year. First of the year. I got
what
it.
was it?
I'm not sure. It's either arugula, probably arugula. The cilantro
Wow.
takes a little longer.
You've already planted?
Yeah, just in the house in little pots.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here we're in a French.
It's going crazy.
Now's the time in Florida to get everything in right now, because if you don't, winter is coming for us. What we call the summer. Really hot.
I'm gonna fire up the greenhouse next month. I'm gonna go early this year.
Wow. Hey, yesterday I saw a shark, a real full-blown shark. It was absolutely wild. We were out at a local park not far from here, and it's along the water, in the mangrove area, the sandy muddy flats, I think is what the area is called. And me, the former New Yorker, looks out and I see a shark, and I said, "Hey everybody, shark." And I was thinking, oh, they're just gonna say it's just a fish, Lisa, it's just a fish. But no, it really was. And so it turned out to be a bonnet head shark. And it was just brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. I mean, the fact that I could go home and say, "Hey, I just saw a shark today," just went out and boom. It's wild.
How many sharks they kill for just the fins? To make
Yeah.
sure
Ugh.
fish-
Especially in the Far East.
and then they just dump the rest of the shark.
Just
Right.
for soup, right? They make a soup out of it.
Yeah.
That's just.
Yeah.
Just for
Where's
the
the mentality? How do you even justify something like that?
Now, I watched a video of a pretty extensive video of what a quote unquote wet market looks like in China.
I bet.
And it was grueling to watch. I'd already seen a lot of footage of dogs and cats being blowtorched to death.
Jeez.
But it was there was more. It was like, multiplied for sure.
Yeah, it happens in a lot of places, not just China.
Yeah, yeah.
It's this is
Indonesia, Cambodia. Heck, I mean, it happens everywhere. The fact that we say, oh, it's this faraway place that does this stuff, it's
What about
not accurate.
What about the factory farms?
Exactly. And I've seen information recently that things have gotten worse in terms of what's being allowed. um, in these mass genocidal facilities where lives are taken. So, but I did rescue a bunny this past week.
Oh,
So, yeah, I mean, I wish I could say that I still had it in my possession and I was able to care for it, but my role was to capture it and save it from being attacked by cats and coyotes. So we got that much done, and we ended up bringing it to an animal rescue a few days later.
I thought you were gonna keep it.
Uh, yeah. It was like adding another kid, and
Yeah, of course it is.
it's like, it's I definitely have more understanding that if we were to have an animal in the home, it would be a dog because of the communication aspect. But these animals are innocent and um want what they want for good reasons, and I respect that. But for us to have a small home and just give it what we were giving it, it wasn't enough. And so it was incongruous.
Lisa, we have at least 4 big families of rabbits here, and they poop everywhere. It's like
Yeah.
covered with poo. They dig furrows or whatever, not down to the earth, but into bushes and under my little canoe. Yes, I would like to own a gun and just take them out. I'm so sorry to say, but it's called pest management.
Yeah.
The lettuce, they eat the kale, they eat the beautiful leaves of, well, not the basil. I forgot which
you
herb
gotta
they.
plant things that they don't like around the property.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's also there's things you can put out that are um controversial in terms of whether you consider them humane or not, but like cayenne pepper and other mixtures,
That works well.
yeah,
So
to deter them.
What do you do, Steve or Lisa?
I had trouble with the harvest this last season because deer were freaking decimating my winter squash. So I just I put the pepper right on the squash itself, and that they stick their nose in it, and they don't want no part of that.
So you
It
put
works,
the,
but
you put the pepper beside the squash.
you gotta get back over there because it washes off. And because they don't eat, they're just destructive. They come by, they take a bite out of one, they move on, take a bite, they move on, take a bite. They're not eating, they're just destroying.
Yeah,
Work.
if you look up uh, I mean there's formulas that are already out there that you could buy, but you could replicate it yourself. Most of them have cayenne pepper in it from what I've seen.
Yeah, you don't want to stick your nose in that.
Cayenne, black pepper.
I'm sneezing over here. I'm like over there like this.
You're putting just the powder?
Yeah, yeah. Ground cayenne, yeah.
You can make it into like a brew with many different things and spray it.
Yeah, but you still got the same problems. It's easier just to.
And that keeps them away?
Yep.
So every time it rains.
Except when it rains, it washes off.
Yeah, I'll do it again.
Oh, the deer, the woodchucks, oh, they don't like it at all.
Well, I have a grandson who is 4 and loves digging all around the garden, so
Yeah.
it's not really an option for me. I mean, I could educate him that, hey, don't touch that, but he's 4, right? Is he going to not touch it? I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, you could. My youngest is 4, so I have a special area for her where she digs.
Oh, my whole garden looks like a mole hole. Like He will dig one hole here and then carries the dirt over there, and then he'll dig a dirt right beside a hole and right beside that and carry that one. It's just like a crazy keeps it so happy. Him, he has a sit-on excavator. You know how he use the digging thing. Just so happy.
Yeah, they love it.
No screen time. I mean, very minimal.
Yeah. So the bunny that I picked up was
yeah.
in somebody else's yard, and it was digging also, and it was having the most fun digging and hopping around and tasting all the different plants. And I could only imagine where this bunny came from. Probably a small cage, and never had this experience, and was really enjoying just being around and hopping about. And we brought it into our home and we tried to litter train it, but it did. I think it would have been successful if we kept at it, but they I can see why people push them into little crates, and it's so wrong. It's so wrong. And I was upset when he was destroying some of our house, but I didn't blame him as much as I blamed humans for creating him and breeding him and
Mm.
releasing him into into an urban neighborhood where he didn't belong.
Yeah, we used to eat them growing up.
Oh,
Yeah, rodents, the rodent family. We've been squirrels, lots of squirrels running here. And my mother's, we feed them, and now we got this rat coming.
oh,
I
the
don't know.
rats are eating the vegetables.
Well, no, not now, but we give them
Oh,
peanuts, just to feed them. And this rat's dug some burrows into the ground there, and it's living there. I've seen it it's been there for a couple of weeks now. I'm just worried it's going to start making babies and
oh yeah.
whole
They like
family.
sweet,
Sorry?
the rats, they like the sweet potatoes, plant sweet potatoes, and the rats just go in and do the same thing. They just chew
Yeah. The rats ate my friend's kohlrabi.
them.
I have the pest problem with cats right now. So the cats come by and they use my saplings as cat scratching posts.
Mm.
Oh, cayenne, they'll leave.
Yeah. They have my trees have that crinoline kind of fabric around them. It looks like I dressed them up for Halloween. That's working for right now.
Curtis has a question here. I just ended a 3-day fast last night. The levels of fear I have been feeling since November have been beyond anything I'm familiar with, but it's actually a lot better today. I had a religious upbringing and I end up very condemned and sure that America is being judged and plundered by those who hate us. I'm having evil visions in the waking hours, much better today, but not gone. And some, if one were in the situation where you had to fast without the tinctures and plasma pudding, which I know you and Ryan have discouraged, will end up sick or toxic from. Um, Sounds like you got a lot going on, Curtis. Um, Fear and you know is brought on by obstructions. I remember, from the years, doing so many different fasts. And when I was a child, I had fear of the dark and stuff. And it was very interesting when you go into the long fast, how the fear just drops away. And I remember a few different experiences of, going back to food. And then when you start going to more obstructive stuff, you start feeling the senses of the fears coming back. And then in the fasting state, they disappeared. So it's all attached to obstruction on the physical, mental, and emotion. Um, what I mentioned on Wednesday, was it? About when we're, dumping plaque, that it's not only physical that gets dumped. You can see the body will dump physically when you're dumping emotions as well. The emotions, their fields, will be dumped through physical means as well. You will dump plaque from emotions. That's why we say when you're having an emotional imbalance, do enemas, because it does help. Ask anybody who's done it when they're going through a healing reaction, which for the most part, it's always the emotion that's the challenge. The physical stuff, yeah, there's some people who have physical challenges through healing reactions physically, but it's mostly the emotions that are the biggest problem. So, MFS has nothing to do with the grape juice. MFS is a lifestyle, and we have many different things that we use that comes through many, many years of experiences and many great teachers. And these are supporting us in purging on a very powerful system. And first and foremost, we need to support the emotions, which is what the our wonderful elevated friends, the herbs, do. So this is why we have everything in place in the system. It's all there for a purpose. We have the herbs, we have the pudding, we have the enemas, we have drinking the juice. The breath work we recommend. We recommend everything because it's such a dramatic shift in our whole physiology, our mental and emotional states when we're purging all these obstructions. And we want all the support we can get. Um, is everybody going to go through these healing reactions? Most people feel something, that's for sure. And even with all the support that we have. So doing it without it, um, I I went through that experience 31 years ago, and there's no reason today, with the knowledge that we have, to do something that we know is not prudent. And that's all we can suggest. If you want to do juice fasting, this is not the page for you to be on. Um, there's many, many, many pages you can go to. Like we said, doing a juice fast mentality with cooked juice is absolutely not prudent. So we don't advise it and we don't support it. People will do what they do, and we know people have done it and then come back crying for help. So why do we need to go through that? We don't, we don't support it. We have the tools in place, and loving this lifestyle is cheaper than eating by far for most people. So why would you not want to support yourself in in something that's going to help you move towards balance? There's lots going on now. There's a lot of fear. Um, we have a lot of tools that they're free. Breath work, burn stick, essential oils. You buy them once, they'll last you forever. If you just sniff them, you don't have to buy them again. If you don't use them, they'll last you forever. The smell doesn't go away. I remember rose oil. I used to go through so much because I used to use a lot of it. And it's one of my favorite oils. And rose is very powerful energetically. You need 40 roses to make one drop of oil. That's why it's very expensive if you buy pure rose oil. Um, where is it here? This one was a gift from a friend of mine from Bulgaria. Bulgaria has one of the best rose oils. It's just like heaven. Smelling roses. It's there's nothing like it. There's many wonderful, beautiful essential oils, but rose is one of my favorites. It's very pleasant. It's associated with Plath for sure, divine Plath, and you can buy these really little tiny bottles and it costs you like 50-60 bucks. It's a little tiny vial, but like I said, you're only going to buy it once if you just use it for smelling. If you don't actually use the oil and physicality, and that's all you really need. The essential oils are powerful because of the what are we doing with the plant? We're using the fields, the odor. There's no physicality. It's just the fields that we're using, and affects the emotion directly through the nasal cavity. That's why breathing through your nose versus through your mouth is night and day difference. And there's many studies that they've done, some brutal studies on animals where they plugged the animal's nose for its entire life, and all the bone structure, face and teeth, everything went crooked. So there's absolutely no comparison breathing from the mouth and from the nose. It's completely two different things. The mouth is not made to breathe. Our nasal passage is made to breathe because the fields need to go through the brain area. And if you have a little bit of understanding of field interactions, you will know that it cannot possibly be the same if you have the fields going directly down here into the lungs versus going through the brain area. It's absolutely two different things. So start with the Butenko breath work and stick with that. You can do cold plunges in the shower, if you have access to a cold body of water, you jump in that. That's very beneficial as well. In changing the state, movement, just move. Have movement every day. Some vigorous movement, some yoga, some gentle movement, walk, bicycle, run. So many things you can do, all at no cost. So I don't know what kind of fast you did for 3 days, but we are in a realm of MFS, and this is what we support here. Extended fast. I need order kit and have it waiting when I get home. Yeah, if you're on a tight budget, go with the star formation 4 and start on level 2, 3. If you're on a budget, but I can assure you, most people are going to spend more on food than being on fasting state. Like the amount we spend on food is ridiculously low, even with all the price increases on food supply. It's still low because we don't consume large amounts of food anymore. Evaporates. What evaporates? I remember you talking about the plaque. Yes, the food and comfort. You ended up sick. for a long time. Yeah, well, I was very toxic when I did my first 40-day fast. Very, very toxic. So it was a wonderful experience to teach me, that's for sure. But you know, anybody that's gone through similar things, master fasting, with all the information we have now, have not suffered anywhere near the suffering I went through at that time, because they have the tools and the body's able to purge it out, you know, a little quicker and safer. And plus, we have, you know, a lot of knowledge now to of how to, you know, break it properly and what foods to eat and so on and so forth. Even though uh, people choose not to do that correctly, it's up to them. It's always about choice, right? Choice is always yours. Tatiana, hello. And we highly, highly recommend you have all the ingredients available. And for the herbs, I suggest is, you know, everybody use the Last Supper 12, but if you can, for whatever reason, work your way down. But stay at least absolute minimum for the star formation 4 tinctures. What is that? Times 4 is about $160 or something. Then lasts you, depending on what level you're at, lasts you a while. Psyllium and charcoal and clay, they're not very expensive. Pretty reasonable. Most places you can find them around. I was commenting on something you said, and now I don't remember what I said. The fear evaporates when you fast. Yeah. When you are fasting continuously and purging and purging and purging. If you do a short fast, you may experience some relief, but when you fasting, you know, at the beginning, and you're having this stuff coming up in the fast, as you've experienced, that's just healing reactions of the body purging, the emotions being purged. They're coming to the surface. The weaknesses are coming to the surface. The fears coming to the surface. And as you purge them out, they won't come back unless we go back to obstruct ourselves again, physically, mentally, and emotionally. You know, we can obstruct ourselves emotionally, just like we can eating obstructive foods. What do you all do when you only sleep 3-4 hours a night? Keep busy.
Whatever you want.
You're living way longer. If you compare two people that live 50 years, they die at 50 years old. One sleeps 8 hours a day, and the other one sleeps 4 hours a day. Who's lived more? That's all. If you add it all up, that's a lot more days of living. Curtis, so the feeling is not true, even though it feels more real and more intense. Well, the feelings are true. You're feeling them, but they are inside of a fast. You're purging. This is how we bring balance through the pain. of feeling the things that are
Suppressed.
suppressed. Yeah, that's a good word, suppressed. The body will purge them, and as the body's purging, we're gonna sense them over again. It's like people who've taken pharmaceutical drugs, some of them many years ago, 20, 30 years ago, or some certain foods that they haven't eaten many years, and they start fasting, and then they start feeling the effects of the drugs and or tasting these things that they haven't eaten for so many years. And all this stuff happens from people going through ex, uh, extended fasting lifestyles. Some more time to be creative and enjoy. Yeah, you get yourself things that you have all the extra time to do things that you love to do, your hobbies and stuff. You know, the biggest, the people that have the most challenges are people who have nothing to do and are not working or doing anything. Those are the people that we've seen have the biggest challenges. There's just not much purpose in what they're in their life. They're at home all day, and they're focusing on all the problems uh, instead of focusing on the solutions and making things happen. Got to keep busy. We're going from morning till night. We get up. There's very little time to do anything else. We're continuously going, keeping busy. Days are full. So if you don't have any hobbies, go go deep into your heart and search on what you love to do. You'll find something. It's there. You came into this realm to experience. You didn't come here to be just in fear and not do anything. Anybody else have any suggestions?
I do. Meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also add that I can relate in a very big way in that 2 years ago, um, sort of living the lifestyle in and out led me to chronic nightmares. Um, just something that came up for me. And it's been a struggle since, but meditation is what helps. And doing it at least once a day, but maybe twice a day as well. It's important.
He says, I'm in a truck 24 hours a day and home for 5 days out of the month. That's a lot of traveling.
Wow.
Huge change for me. I was very active. So like I mentioned to you, I think it was Wednesday. You gotta take breaks, even if they're 5 minutes, whatever, get some movement into you. It'll help you.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
I'm not in a truck, but I'm the matriarch of the family with 3 kids, and it can feel like a truck. So I can relate with feeling confined to a certain lifestyle. But it's true that we just have to make room for these things that are so important. And the sunlight too, and the nature. So it's hard, but I do use, a certain tool to help me, and that's an app on my phone to keep track of my meditations. And the app allows me to either do my standard um, meditation of it's a certain bell that goes off, and there's certain music that happens, or chanting rather, with different bells that happen throughout 20-minute intervals. But then also there's music that I can access. So if a day isn't going the way I planned, I can do something that is different from what I would usually do. Um, so it's flexible. And that app is called Insight Timer. And it's true that if you can follow something, just because you're setting yourself up to follow it with a schedule, you can actually start a new lifestyle habit. So it will just sort of put you in a new pattern as well and be very helpful in that way.
If it is to be, it's up to me. I remember years back, we were doing when I was into the wheatgrass. There was the wheatgrass trucker. He was a trucker, and he was growing wheatgrass in his truck, and juicing it and everything. I'm still, you can still, sure, you can still find it on YouTube. Pretty interesting. He goes, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Lisa, here's the app. I use it too.
Yeah, wonderful. It's very rewarding.
It's beautiful bells.
Yes.
Can you hear them, Curtis? Can you hear them talking?
Really nice.
Yeah. Wheatgrass, and he'd lost tons of weight and stuff. It was a great little story. Yeah, you can hear. So yeah, there's everything's possible. You know, somebody can grow wheatgrass in his truck, and that's his job. That's awesome. So don't make anything hold you back. Everything's possible.
The meditation is so important.
Yeah.
Exercise.
I have a friend on Facebook. His name is Michael Holden. He is also aiming to become a breatharian, but he also owns a truck, so he's doing trucking, and he's home for 5 days a month. That's true. He's doing a tremendous amount of driving and trucking, and he's on water practically most of the time, and some fruit juices, cooked fruit juices, and lots of meditation. He will stop, and he carries little crystals and whatever fancies, some beautiful stones he brings me from other places, and that's his life. And again, he's a trucker. He
Yeah.
can meditation and focusing the mind of what you want.
There's you know, there's all walks of life living a fasting lifestyle. There's a few jobs that you would have to be very careful. For example, operating some dangerous machinery, a truck, um, roofing, if you're on roofs and stuff, especially if you're new to fasting, and you can be prone to dizziness and fainting. Some people are. I remember when I started off, I was very lightheaded a lot. And, you know, getting up, whoa, you know, almost passing out. So, yeah, there's a few people who smash their heads, which is not pleasant. So, you know, we have the knowledge and understanding that be careful when you start fasting and understand that and use the tools. You know, this pressure point right here really works for, you know, lightheadedness, dizziness. Just hold it. And if you feel anything, just when you're in a fasting state, always get up slowly from a chair or from the bed. Get up slowly, because that's the time where people will faint. They get up too fast and boom. And it's not because we're not eating and there's no nutrition and all that. It's because the body is full of obstructions trying to move out, and the body can't move them out. And those are the side effects from the obstructions, which could be from whatever: emotions, drugs, foods, etc., 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 etc. So yeah, be wise. Use the tools. So yeah, you can work out a plan if you're 5 days at home. Um, once a month, I would choose that to be my dry fasting days as soon as I got home. So I would, prepare for one day, wash really well on liquids, and then go into the dry fast, and then you have a day to break it, and you're off. That's probably what I would do. Until once you start getting used to it, then you may want to do your dry fast on the road. Once you're um, okay with the meaning that um, you're not experiencing any dizziness or lightheadedness uh, very much. What usually happens when you feel that is the body's trying to move something out, and that's why we go to doing extra washing, extra enemas and stuff. And once it passes out, once it comes out of you, the whatever it is, it goes away instantly, and you feel rejuvenated, renewed. So it's that's 99.999% of the times that's what it is. So that's why we suggest first line of defense is breath work and with enemas. Janice, hello, and you got your hand up.
Hey, good evening,
How you doing?
everybody. Better. I spent half today trying to pee. My bladder hurts so bad, but I finally did, and it's a good night.
Yeah, you look better.
But yeah, I'm having still difficulty with that.
Mm.
But I figure I'm going to, for a while. So I'm trying to figure it all out, how to do it.
Have you been doing any castor oil packs?
Any what?
Castor oil packs?
Oh, every night. I alternate them all over the place.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I have, yeah, every night for the past probably month. And you were talking about multiple enemas and stuff. That's what's really helped me.
Yep.
It's I do it at 1 in the morning, then I find, the symptoms kind of just creep up at first, you don't feel, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I got a headache, or wow, I'm dizzier. It's just all of a sudden you're not feeling good again.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of wow. And so I do another one, and I'm better. So at 6 months now, I'm figuring it out. 6 months, is a good time for me. I've really kind of figured some of the basics out right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. No need to be in fear. The information is available. Keep rereading, keep rewatching videos, and keep joining us in the live calls so you understand what you're going through and it's not fearful.
Exactly. And the tools just work. I mean, the multiple enemas and the castor oil packs, and they work. And the pudding, trying to do some extra pudding, it really does work. You just got to stick with it.
I can see more light out of your facial structure right now. If you go back a few videos and look at yourself, and then look at yourself now.
Do you think that I've gained a little weight?
I don't look at weight. I'm looking at the light coming out of the body.
Oh, light. Oh, light.
You got more light coming out.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
right?
Well, that's good. But I have a lot of work to do.
We all do. Janice, it doesn't matter. It's a lifestyle. Forget about, just continue. And you'll see it starts improving. How long it's going to take? I don't have that answer, but
whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes. You just don't worry about it. It's gonna come. You're moving in a direction.
Are you done? I mean, do you still have symptoms?
Myself?
Yeah, you.
Of course, it depends on what I eat. If I choose,
Oh, it does. That's what does it. Eating.
if you don't eat any high obstructive foods, medium to high obstructive foods, you're going to get very little symptoms. Even on fruit, you're going to feel some stuff, but nowhere near the more obstructive stuff.
Well, talking about, I was on the website looking at like food recipes, and you have this like water from, and it's all in French. What is that
Ocean water.
on your website? It's
Ocean water.
French water.
Ocean water.
Yeah, like ocean mineral water. Do
That's-
you buy that?
We have some that I've had for years. That's we bought some of that too to try it. It's this is based on Rene Quinton's work. Quinton, I don't know how to pronounce it. The French scientist, doctor from the late 1800s, who was cure all kinds of things by injecting ocean water, plasma, he called it, into people that were sick and ill.
It's just plasma water.
Yeah, there's
Can you buy it off your website? Because I can't read it. It's in French.
Yeah, it's not directly from the website that there. I can't remember. Randall's taking a nap. That's they use it for it's in a state where you can use it for injection, but what people are doing is they're ingesting it, table salt and stuff instead of table salt. I mean, I wouldn't go.
You wouldn't mess with it.
Just don't worry about that right now.
I was just wondering because I couldn't read it.
Yeah,
I was just looking through it.
You can read Rene Quinton's work. There's websites, and there's also a book about. I don't know if he wrote the book, and it's in French. But I remember way back when we started the MFS page, there was a French kid who was right into the Rene Quinton stuff, but sadly. I was asking him, what was the book about? Man, he just told me basically it's all the stuff he did and experiments throughout the years. But anyway, sadly, this kid was on pharmaceutical antidepressants, and he was saying that he was going to commit suicide to prove a point to the pharmaceutical companies. And next thing you know, he really did commit suicide.
Wow.
It was like, wow. I go, wow, man, this stuff is nasty. So I can't remember the kid's name. I had a few discussions with him on Messenger, and I go, I don't, how do you take anybody seriously that are going to be doing this kind of stuff? And yeah, there was actually the guy committed suicide. He was
okay. Well, I was just wondering because like I said, I couldn't read it, but
you can use Google.
Yesterday was my last eating day. I did 3 eating days, and then I'll do 4 non-eating days. Today, I started the dry fast. It'll go into tomorrow, end it, and then I'll probably do another 4 because that felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Probably be a little easier if you did a wet day before the dry.
A wet day.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, you mean just
a day, then do a wet day, then do your dry day.
Oh, thanks, Steve. Okay, I'll do that.
Like
okay.
You can use Google Translate. It's pretty good. You can get the gist of what's happening. But Rene Quinton, he did many experiments. He started off on stray dogs, and he was able to replace all the blood equal to its body weight with ocean water, and the dog thrived. And that experiment was repeated recent, I think it was in the 1950s or 60s by some doctors with the same results. So, this blood transfusion thing is just a big scam. We can use ocean plasma.
Wow, really?
Yeah, but
That's amazing.
there's
Ocean is life.
no money in that, right? He drawed the ocean water a certain place at a certain time of the year where the plankton was blooming, if I remember correctly, and that's what he used, and that's what this water from France is supposed to be, sourced from the
Huh.
same place, same way that he would do it, and that's awesome. Awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want to go through that, just use the Google Translate, and you can get it. There's other places that you can get it, but I don't know that I don't know if you can trust all the sources. We did a bit of research to find a good source. You got to be careful these days with anything. That's why,
Yeah.
anything we
Did you
recommend.
drink it? What did you do with it?
Yeah, we used it as a sea salt. Yeah,
Oh, you said sea salt. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like we say, if anybody's is really wants to use any kind of salt, use the ocean water source, in liquid form versus the dehydrated sea salts. There is a difference. There is a difference.
And you can't hydrate the other one.
It won't be the same, no. You can, once you remove the water, you remove the life force.
I
So
see. Gotcha.
you can't make ocean water even with the dehydrated crystal salts from dehydrated ocean water. You can't make it. Man cannot duplicate ocean water. So the earth makes it in its perfect form. It's has all the elements of exactly the same proportion as our blood. It's just in a different strength. It's more concentrated than our blood. It's about 3 times, if I remember, 3 or 4 times concentrate. I used to know all this stuff because I used to work with ocean water. Yeah, ocean water is pretty magical. It's the blood of the earth, and it carries the emotion, right? All the animals are living in there, and so far, and fish, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of life forms in the ocean, more than there is on land, way more. Oceans cover more of the earth than the land masses, right? And the oceans, what we've understood through many people who've researched it for many years, is it's very consistent in its mineral to mineral ratio. The only thing that changes around the globe is the concentration slightly. So from oceans to seas, the concentration changes a little bit, but the mineral to mineral ratios is identical. It doesn't change. I've had ocean water that from over, how long is it now? About 15 years old. It hasn't changed at all. It's exactly the same. It doesn't change.
Isn't it polluted though? Or, I mean, like with
Well,
plastics and stuff?
if you grab it from the shorelines, yeah. What we understand is the oceans tend to push all the crap to the shorelines. So the way we're harvesting is that we were going out minimum 20 miles, and we had it tested. The batches, every batch that we harvested, through parts per billion with a B as in Bob, and it was clean
Hmm.
at certain
Is
depths.
that right?
Yeah, like man's doing a great job trying to destroy it. Yeah, for sure. And but yeah, I'm sure it has been affected by what we're doing to the planet for sure. But where are you going to go get it? This is the only planet we have right now that we're living on. If you can find another source somewhere in another universe, go for it.
Yeah.
It's very very clean when we were harvesting it. People are asking about the Fukushima, this and that, the other thing. Same answer. Same answer. The earth is always continuously moving towards what? Balance. Always. No matter what we're doing, that's the default. It's going to continuously working toward it until what? Until it gets to a point where it can't anymore, and then we're doomed because the earth would cease to exist. So as long as it's breathing like we are, it's moving towards balance as best it possibly can, even with what we're doing to it, bombarding it left, right, and center.
Well, that's promising. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't realize we could replace all our blood with ocean water. That's amazing. That's just
According to the way
amazing.
things work. Yep. So people, using this stuff for supplementing, drinking it and stuff, and getting results, but we don't look at nutrition like that anymore, right?
I mean, the truth about us is nobody knows it.
A few people, not,
Yeah, a few, but I mean, the masses don't.
I was sharing this stuff for years about the ocean water and the work of Rene Quinton and Maynard Murray and a few other people out there that,
I never heard that before.
yeah, well,
That's amazing.
feed the dilute. Yeah.
Hey, Gina, I'm
Hi.
curious. Do you not get the like same reactions after using seawater, ocean water,
Say that again.
than you do from lakes? Do you not get any reactions like the day after using ocean water? Like if you take it internally, like for example, salt, you would feel it. I'm wondering, would you feel ocean water?
Not like the sea salt. You do feel some, but not like the sea salt. It's different. And as long as you don't overdo it, go crazy, right? Try it out. Let us know.
Just curious. Yeah, I'm okay without salt. Like,
There's the salt is more addictive than sugar for a lot of people.
I feel it right away.
So if you stay away from it completely, you don't need it. It's like I was saying.
Yeah, your taste buds adjust. Your taste buds adjust, and everything actually tastes much richer.
The the whole thing about the nutrition thing, it's not nothing to do with that. But there's many things we can do with ocean water. What do we make GANs with? We're using salt, sea salts. We can do with ocean water.
Yeah, I saw your video on that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brittany's back.
Hey, Brittany.
Hi, Gina.
Hello. Have you traveled the universes and found out what you're going to do?
Yeah, I think so. I've learned something, like there's a lot of people on those like parasite forums and stuff that they get through and they do things, but I'm seeing a lot of I'm recognizing what is going on with me and how it's a mirror of my own choices, and I recognize that like it tests me. It's right before my colon and it blocks things, and what I always kind of did was like herb brewing, stuff like that. But I'm finding there's people that were convincing me a while back, like, you got to take the medicine, you got to take the medicine. It's like, maybe it would work, but there's something inside my heart. And I ask myself, is this like my lower self lying to me? No, it's my heart, where maybe something's competing with me for survival, but I've seen people knock this stuff down and do all this stuff, but like, it's all imbalancing. It's going everywhere else. It's like, and I'm finding that I just don't think that, I think supporting the body in the different ways, because I'm struggling a bit right now, but I don't think killing is the answer. I just don't think it's supposed to be, because, and sometimes like it's choosing your life, over decompensation, but there's just something about it. It's like, yeah, maybe it could help, but when I'm tapping in, it's like, no, I don't want to take that medicine. I don't want to hurt my body. Even if there's something in it that I could wind up hurting, it just doesn't resonate with me. You know what I mean? So I go back to Master Fast, you know, and there's people on there that had a lot of success. And they asked me one day, it was like a month ago, they said, "What's that thing that came out of you?" I said, "It's mucoid plaque." And they said, "How'd you get it out?" I said, "Honestly, it wouldn't come out through force. You can't force it." Like, and there's something about that I'll never forget, because I came to realize that, like, we can figure things out, we can do herbal work, we can do all this stuff, but there's some things we're not going to understand, and we have to be okay with not understanding it and surrendering to the process. Maybe we're struggling, maybe we do have this alien thing inside of us, but we're not going to figure it all out. And the more we try to figure it out, the more energy we spend taking away from our balance and the understanding of like how our soul finds balance. And honestly, it really is a deep surrender. It's a trust. It's like you have to trust. Even when you're taking those medicines, you have to trust. But there's something about those things that I can't explain why. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if it's maybe the part of me that's connected to this thing in me. It's this big thing, and it's there, but there's something in me that, like,
Can you give me
I just get this giant no, you know, I get a giant no. I'm like, no, it's not the answer. And that's why I come back here, because I like the herbs. Sometimes I like coffee enemas every now and then, only with massage and butiko and like acupressure and stuff. But I don't resonate with doing the drugs, and I don't even resonate with my old regimen either. I resonate with coming back to Master Fast. And the key with all of this is love, is choosing love. You have to choose to love, and you have to choose to not hate, and you have to choose to surrender. You have to choose to love, and you can't let your mind stop you from your heart. And that's what it ultimately is, you know. It's accepting responsibility for your choices. And
is there
I'm
any
finding so many people that spend their lives learning all of those things, and maybe it's really intelligible and really beautiful, but the problems come back because what people don't understand is that this is deeply connected. Some people do, but it's about the soul. It's not just about fighting something. And it's hard to understand, because sometimes it's like where there are we have things in our world right now. We have bioengineering, we have bioweaponry, we have these things that are not really part of creation, that some are existing, some in some of us, or in most of us, that aren't supposed to be there. But at the same time, I don't have the answer, but something in me, maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't have to do with fighting the process. I don't know why. It just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with not knowing why.
your intellect doesn't have the answer, your Luciferic intellect, but your soul does. And that's where I would suggest you trust. The killing, I don't know, show me an example where killing solved anything.
Mm-mm.
What drugs are you on, Brittany? What drugs were you talking about?
Not any right now. People were convincing me to take fenbendazole, albendazole, and like take them and titrate them, and like it works in certain ways for some people, but something in my heart is saying no, it hurts things. It's just it's aggressive. I don't want to use aggression anymore.
What are those drugs for?
The drugs are some of them are like for the what is it called again? Sorry, I just forgot what it was called. Sorry. Oh, the like getting the something with the it does something with bringing the cells back to some kind of balance, but the drugs are anti-helminthic drugs and antimicrobial drugs, antibacterial drugs that are supposed to get the things to let go. And it's like, works for some people, but no, it's like, I have asked myself before, is it just me, a part of me resisting or not walking into the fear of going down that path? And I'm like, no, it's not. I don't agree with that for some reason. If it's man-made, maybe we have some things in our bodies these days that are man-made that like don't originally belong there. So we can match that with something man-made, but it doesn't feel right to me. And that's why I haven't done it. I did it one time and I backed away. And then I was asking myself, I'm like, okay, is this just the part of me that starts something and doesn't finish it? And I'm like, no, something in me doesn't resonate with this process. And that's kind of what I feel. I could be wrong, but I don't think that it's about doing that, because I don't think the harshness is where it needs to be.
Everybody's looking for shortcuts.
Yeah. And this one girl doing it, she said like she's been going through it for months, and she said like it's going to be a long, long process, and you just have to stick it out and be willing to let a part of yourself die. And she's doing a little better, but then she's got these things moving into her head and everything like that. And she can't really function, and it's like maybe that's her path. But when I'm looking at it, it's like, I don't know, because I'm not her, I'm not experiencing it. And she's getting some results, but there's so many things that are happening to her. It seems like she's destroying herself. And maybe she's not. I don't know, because I haven't walked that path. I know people get success from it, but I don't think it's my path. I don't feel like it's
Hi, everyone. Can I ask a quick question? Hi, my name's Josephine. Hello. I was just been listening to everyone talking and taking things in. Quick question, Brittany. How long have you been doing the master fast?
Recently, like I haven't been straight on the master fast, but when I did, the longest I probably went was 6 days, and it was last year. And then recently what I was doing was kind of just doing some herbs, doing fruit, and mainly staying on fruit. I had like a couple lapses, but not big ones. And I was just kind of doing fruit, and I was doing some enemas. And I think without the pudding and without like the juice, sometimes I have struggles with the juice, but I think that's just my mind. I don't think without the full protocol, it doesn't really
So
like make sense.
you've done the master fast system
Yeah,
properly for 6 days.
in the past, yeah. And sometimes after like that same period, I encountered problems, but it wasn't the master fast. I know that like way back
Have you
when I
tried
could do the
doing the
master
levels,
fast, it worked.
Brittany?
The what?
Have you tried doing the levels that Rana and Gina have
That's what
said?
that's where I'm like moving to. I kind of want to do level 5 or level 4, and I want to do like some MFS days, and as
Have
things
you tried
release, I
doing
want to go to like one fruit.
Have you tried
Probably.
doing something like level 3 or level 2?
I haven't, and I want to. It's just like basically I have a blockage, and I'm very obstructed. So I want to do like as minimal eating as possible. But then if my symptoms get so high, then I want to break it properly. I want to get that balance between the eating and the fasting.
I thought that level 3 or level 2 is like fasting for 2 days or 3 days. Is that correct, Gino? If you do level 2 or level
Yes.
3?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because maybe that's a bit more realistic if you just do master fast for 3 days, because it sounds to me that it may be might be complicating things a bit. So maybe it's about making it as simple and straightforward as possible and not challenging yourself
Yeah,
far too much. So maybe
I
just
think
do master
so.
fast system properly, like the protocol said, for maybe 3 days a week or 2
Mhm.
days a week. And yeah, try not to be so into your head so much, and just take things easy,
I
really.
think I need to feel into like what my heart is telling me, because
Yeah.
I like the breaking and like doing the days with the fruit. And I know that like as things come into balance, even when they're not, I really the energy in fruit is different than anything else. And that's why no matter what people have told me and what they have said, what they say, sometimes we come from very obstructed paths, but I know fruitarianism is where we're meant to go. And there's a lot of people who go against that, and it's like, and I just respect their opinion, but I don't,
I
you can
completely
feel
agree
something with it. Yeah.
because I understand the power of eating only fruit, and I also appreciate and understand the power of doing the master fast system properly and not freestyling it and just doing
Mhm.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
But from what I'm hearing, because I do listen to these Zoom calls, not always live, but from what I'm hearing is that there seems to be like a cycle, a vicious cycle, from what you're talking about, your experiences, and everyone's experiences is important and valid, and it's personal to them. So I'm not condemning you because I don't know you, but from what you're saying, you just keep on saying the same things again and again. And what it sounds to me is that you should just dedicate yourself to do the master fast system properly at a pace that is reasonable
Yeah.
and not too harsh. So maybe 3 or 2 days a week. And then the rest of the days, eat and don't feel upset or ashamed or angry or annoyed at yourself eating. Just do some light vegan fruit eating and then go back to master fast 2 or 3 days a week. But make sure you dedicate yourself to do the master fast system properly, going with the protocol, and just do that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months and then see how that goes. But doing it 6
Yeah.
days isn't really gonna help.
No, yeah, of course. And that's why when people ask me like, well, what have you been doing on the master fast? I come to the calls, but like I'll openly say to people, no, I don't feel like I've been doing the master fast like for a long time. You know what I mean? And I think it's like listening to my body, because sometimes when it's like very obstructed and I'm like eating the fruit, I get the energy, from the fruit, and I don't feel great, but I can move past that. It's a matter of like what I need to do that I did do last year in January, and I was still learning the system, so I was kind of dealing with my mind a lot, but it was like, I think it was like level 6 or in like level 7, or it could be lower than that, but like when it was in that time, it was just that decision. So maybe my first kidney tea enema back then was a great release or whatever, and it's different now. It doesn't matter. It's like in that time, I knew that when I heard the truth and the wisdom, I trusted it, I learned it, and I carried it through consistently, whether it was a higher level or a lower level. I didn't lose my focus and I kept myself going, even if I questioned something. I'm like, no, I'm in love with this and I want to hold my heart in it. And that's what I need to get back is I have to find that again. And not have to, but it's just choosing to feel that and choosing to have the trust and the faith again.
So what's stopping you
keep it
from
consistent.
Are you
stopping you from
seeing a doctor? Is that what it is? Do you go to see a regular doctor every week? Who's
No,
prescribing you the medicine?
no,
I
the
mean, because you
medicine was
just
something
can't
that
get
a friend
that.
gave me like months ago. The medicine was something a friend's mother gave me like months ago.
So
And
you
I just
don't
have
see a
it.
doctor regularly?
No, a functional medicine doctor, yes, like I did see him.
How
Um,
often do you see him?
like every few months and stuff. He gives me pointers and stuff like that. And there's a
Does he
protocol that he
confuse
wanted me
you?
to do.
Does he know about Master Fast?
He does. He kind of respects like whatever it is that I need to do to get better, but he has his own decision for like what he would want me to do. So I need to just decide what I feel in my heart, And I think that what it comes down to is like we're here to like understand lessons. I feel like everyone's journey is different. There was a lot of things I did understand on that one path. I didn't implement the medications and the stuff like that, but I was finding people healing these things and infections they have. Like in America, the problem is like, even if let's say it is an anti-parasitic drug, they won't prescribe those. They don't prescribe them to anybody because
I
for a lot
know.
of people, they work. They refuse to prescribe them here. And if you even
They don't
talk,
think anyone has them.
no, they tell everybody they're required to tell us
That it's
whether
in
it's
your
mucoid
head.
plaque, yeah, mucoid plaque, parasites. They're told to call them like call them or Morgellons, whatever you want to label it. Call them delusional and tell them that it's not real and that they're crazy. And if you mention the drugs or you say that it's not for an animal, it's for a human, the FDA wants to go after you because they don't want people to have it. It's the same thing as like with the fasting systems. Some of them, not all of them, some of them are good people and some of them just don't know. And some of them, they just don't want, it's the same thing with COVID-19. They don't want people to know. They don't want people to know
So
about
is
the
that why you
universe.
went to the doctor to get that kind of medicine?
No, it was just something that I had like just friends who were like on this protocol called Sharkman's and they just kind of gave it to me. I didn't use it, but A doctor
Wow.
didn't prescribe it to me. There was a GI who wanted to test me for parasites, and I was just like, honestly, from what I know about them, it's so hard to get readings. And I did one stool test for him, but I said, like, honestly, I just got to go my way and like live a lifestyle connected to the earth, because honestly, you guys could even find a portion of this, but it's going to be like years and years of drawn out like crap. It's not worth doing any of that stuff. And
Just
it's just
wondering
it's
if
just a
you
giant tangent at this point. I'm just like kind of over it, honestly.
So, Brittany,
Um,
what are you committing to when it comes
um,
to the master fast? So we should take it back to the master fast rather than outside drug things you're talking about.
yeah, and this isn't like me coming from my ego. I want to at first do a kind of higher level. And I kind of want to do that just because if I focus on that, eventually the floodgates open. And I get that first middle of me that opens. And then that's right around that time. I want to keep it on like, though, not level 7, like a little lower. And as I can get the obstructions to move out and just kind of surrender into that, then I want to like do more of like the eating with a lot of fruit and like
Brittany,
some raw and stuff.
Brittany, have you in this past year, have you been able to maintain clean eating?
For periods of time, but no. And when the stuff started coming out, all of a sudden my cravings were just gone.
No, yeah,
And
exactly.
then eventually you can get tempted again, you know.
Shared with us that you went to deep fried stuff, this, and that. If you're gonna be doing that and fasting, you're gonna put yourself through more misery.
Yeah. That's the thing that has to just be like done.
We've
And
tried
that's what I decided to let
to
go of.
make to you what million different suggestions in the past year, but you haven't followed through and not once. So what's going to be different now?
Just it's like trusting the process, because I don't want to just focus on the parasites and the fungus, but I know that I can't listen to that part of me, because it will, before I had that, I didn't want those things, but while it's there, I'm always going to want those things. And I just have to learn, I have to learn how to say no. You know what I mean? I have to learn how to say no. And it's like, there's a lot of stuff I've gone through, and some of it's emotional, some of it's like ancestral,
Brittany,
and some of it's just stuff I'm working on, you know?
Brittany,
Mm-hmm.
remember what I said? Stillness and quietness
Mm-hmm.
as you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I said that?
Yeah.
It's enough,
Yeah.
right? It's enough. Quiet time. Quiet your mind. Enough. Until when? Exactly the same thing is being repeated. Enough. Take a break. Take a break.
You're going around in circles.
It's okay.
No.
That's not, please. Enough. Just stop. Enough. We know exactly.
Yeah.
Everything you said, you have said it before. And everything we wanted to tell you, we have told you before. Everything
Nothing changes.
Everything we still want to tell you, we have told you before. Enough. Time for a break. The exact same thing. Take a break.
We keep saying
It's
MFS is here when you are ready. I don't know what else we can do for you.
It's okay. We have to be quiet too, huh? Please, quiet, and we will be quiet. Enough.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to tell you anything anymore because it's the same thing that we have told you before. So we're going to be quiet. When you are ready to learn, the teacher is here.
Mm-hmm.
When you're ready to do, the teacher is here. We're going to learn to listen to each other's exact stories over and over. It's enough time for everybody to be quiet and to start doing. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I apologize too, because it's just hard to relax my body recently. So then I talk. So I have to work on that. I will work on that, you know?
Yeah, you're a beautiful person. We love you. You without even working at anything, just let's all be quiet and just help each other, you know. Quiet, really. We don't need to talk too much. It's enough. Everybody has said what they have to say. Now it's time for everyone to do it.
Answers are in plain sight.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can say to
Yeah, that's why we want to be quiet.
make you change your directions.
Time for a prayer before 11 o'clock. Anybody has to share something?
This little meditation. Go within. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Allow the body to relax as we focus on the breath. With each breath, we become more and more relaxed. Cycle some of the breath on the inhale from the tailbone up the spine to the top of the head. On the exhale, down the front of the body, around the groin, back to the tailbone. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Let's bring our attention focus to the area below the belly button. With each breath, we bring balance back to that chakra. If the mind wanders, don't worry about it. Just picture a box in a corner of a room and put the mind in the box. It'll be there. It won't go anywhere. Keep the focus on the area below the belly button. Let's move the focus down to the genitals. The area of life force of creation. With each breath, we bring balance to that area. Let's move our attention to the perineum between the genitals and anus. With each breath, we bring balance to that area. Let's move the focus to the tailbone. With each breath, we bring balance to that area. Let's go up the spine a little to the kidney area. Keep the focus on the kidney area. The king and queen with their crowns. hold a lot of fear in the kidney area. We open them up and purge all that emotion out. Feel the kidneys relaxing, moving towards balance. Let's go up the spine to between the shoulder blades. With each breath, we bring balance to that area. Let's move up the spine to the top of the spine, where the skull meets the spine, the atlas. With each breath, we bring balance to that area. Let's move up to the top of the head, center of the skull, 1,000-point junction. With each breath, we bring balance to that area. Let's move to the forehead, third eye. Our true vision. without the physical eyes. Let's move our attention down to the throat area, the voice box, thyroid. Our voices are heard in the fields. Let's move the focus to the heart chakra, strongest fields of the physicality. We send out plasma love always flowing to all souls to move in the direction of peace, balance, correct conduct, and do the right thing at all costs. Brittany, if you're still on, we're sending you some extra plav so that you may see that your soul will guide you to perfection for yourself. Janice, we send you some extra plath in times of need. As we continue to feed the Masterfast Plasma Bank, it continues to nourish. And more is being revealed all around the planet. Governments are stepping down, corrupt governments all over the world. Keep sending them plath. 4:32 a.m. or p.m. your time. 9 seconds. Let's move down to the solar plexus. So each breath we bring balance to that area. And let's cycle the breath a few times from the spine up. On the inhale, top of the head, exhale, down the front. On the inhale, go up. Exhale, go down. 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 Start moving your fingers. Keep your eyes closed. And then start rubbing your hands and get more vigorous. And just keep your palms slightly apart and feel the feels between your palms. You can feel a plasma ball forming. The more you focus, the stronger the plasma becomes. You can feel it pulsating, of course, because it has a heartbeat. All the fields contain the heartbeat of Creator, God. It runs through all our fields and keeps everything flowing. Just feel that power of the plath. Plasma love always flowing is within the fields of the plasma. Just massage it, feel it expanding, contracting. Breathe into it. You are the creator of this wonderful plasma ball. You may get sensation of temperature or electrical feeling. Just breathe life into it. With all our intent and emotion, now we're going to send it off into the planet so it can nourish and wake up all the souls that are in deep sleep. On the count of 3, we will just throw it into the air and let it start nourishing. 1, 2, 3. And here we're back. Did you feel the energy?
I felt it in my hands.
If you practice
too.
that, yeah, if you continue to practice it, you'll be able to build very strong plasma balls. You can do whatever you want with it. It's a source of all creation.
That's cool.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Gina, and everyone.
Yes, thank you.
It's wonderful to share together.
The more we give, the more we can receive. We can't receive unless we give. So we give the gift of Plaf to humanity to wake them up. This will be over today because tomorrow never comes.
That's true.
Tomorrow will be today. Thank you so much. It's always a blast to be with like-minded souls and continue on our journeys, on our different paths with similar beliefs. And we'll continue.
Always. Much love. Much love, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Everyone feel better. Bye.
Ciao,
Thank
ciao.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye, Barbara.
Thank you, Gina.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody on Facebook.